Matt Lucas, and welcome to And the Winner Is. These are the awards that recognise achievement in the less celebrated aspects of human endeavour, honouring absolutely anything from the most coquettish farmyard animal to the most enticing chupa-chup. Strawberries and cream, by the way. And I'm joined tonight by three special guests who have each brought along their own nominations for our different awards. Please welcome Bob Mortimer, Alex McQueen and Tom Baker. Welcome to you all. Bob, what's been your favourite moment at an awards do?
I was there when Jarvis showed his arse to Michael Jackson at the Brits.
At the Brit
and
Awards.
they arrested him, and I was a solicitor at the time. And they put him into someone's dressing room. So I said, I'm his solicitor, and I demanded entry to see him and so on. And I said, what have you done, Jarvis? And he was very scared. And he said, I showed my arse to Michael Jackson.
But I just think, what sort of country is it when you can't expose your bottom to a visiting singer and hundreds of kids? You know, what's happened to this country? Where are we heading? You know. Alex, have you ever won an award?
I have won an award, which was peculiar in itself, but it was an award for a film I did where I played a peculiar bird watcher. And I got a call from the director saying, it gives me the most astonishing pleasure to give you this news, Alex, but you have won an award of Best Actor at the Syracuse Film Festival.
Wow.
So, turned out to be 6 blokes in a pub in Syracuse when I went on the internet to find out what they were about, and unfortunately it was a bit of a damp squid. But I was very grateful for the award. I mustn't knock it.
Have you got it at home?
I threw it away.
Tom, what's your opinion on awards ceremonies?
Oh, I think they're terribly important. Yeah, oh, yes. I'd die for an award. I really would. I've never had one, of course. In fact, when I was very young and early in the last millennium, I started out as a drama student, practicing my autograph and writing my Oscar speech, which, went something like, God, I'm so pleased with myself. But I've never had an opportunity to use it. And it seems increasingly unlikely.
Well, you never know in this business. That elephant.co.uk advert, it could just be round the corner. You never know. Well,
Do you
it's
do
time.
the elephant, Tom?
Well, as you know, I'm shameless.
It's just because I do the Churchill.
I know.
So we're like kind of deadly rivals.
Oh, yes.
We should move on, I think, to our first award of the evening. For every mobile phone, dishwasher and Breville sandwich toaster, there is a mountain of sorry devices that have slid humiliatingly into disuse. Once deemed essential, these gizmos lie unloved, leaking toxic gas in a gadget graveyard. So it's time to ask, which of these wretched contraptions will our guests nominate for the Lucas for most redundant technology? Alex.
The Hoover.
Bob.
The technology behind Rod Hull's emu.
Tom.
Well, I'd like to celebrate the passing of old flat irons.
Lovely, OK. So those are the nominations for most redundant technology. The Hoover, the technology behind Rod Hull's emu, and the old flat irons. Alex, why have you chosen the Hoover?
Well, I was very disappointed as a child when I found out that the Hoover, in fact, is something which you have to suck through a bag, which I can't quite fathom as having any value or use whatsoever. I mean, as soon as anything gets attached to the surface of that paper, nothing else will be allowed through. So after the first initial purchase, it's going to be rendered useless. So I was extremely excited by the invention of the Dyson, which was invented by James Dyson, who saw a mill and sawdust being extracted from the mill via a 30-foot cone. And he just thought that is exactly how a Hoover should work.
Yeah, but it's not that practical. I mean, this 30-foot cone in my house, it takes up all the space.
I've had 3 of them and got rid of them pretty pronto.
I was disappointed. I mean, the thing that attracted me was the transparency, so you can see everything whirling around. Yeah. But then I thought, oh, that dried blood, I don't want to see that. You know, the skin, the hair. I mean, if you're disposing of a body, you don't want to constantly be reminded of those remnants. Tom, you can appreciate that, can't you?
I can appreciate it, yeah, but I don't do much with Hoovers.
You don't?
No. I have a maid.
Right.
Who does the hoovering, yes.
Yeah.
And your wife, does she know that you call her the maid?
Yes.
Bob, you chose as your most redundant technology the technology behind Rod Hull's emu.
I did, yes. And I'm wishing now that I'd chosen the tankard.
Right. Well, if you'd like to change it, you can.
Well, what about the technology that made those Billy Bass things? Because that's not needed anymore, is it?
Oh, the singing fish, and then these things take me to the river.
Yeah,
and,
because, they're funny for a particular period of time, and then that's that, isn't it?
Does everyone know what the Billy Bass things were? They were a fish on a piece of wood.
Yes.
As you see displayed in sort of country clubs by proud fishermen. But this fish was animated, and when you pressed a button, it would swing off its wooden stand and sing, "Take me to the river." And it was really amusing for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that second's now gone, and I'm saying the technology that used to print them out, that's probably quite redundant.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what you conceived to be the technology behind Rod's emu.
Well, when I was thinking about it, I think I was thinking of that other fella who has the ostrich.
Bernie Clifton.
And I was thinking of those two sticks, because actually the technology behind emu is in fact Rod Hull, isn't it?
That's it.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
So
It's a hand. It's God's
he's
technology.
dead, and he's kind of redundant, but in the most obvious way.
Tom, aside from looking quizzical, you had a nomination you'd like to make.
I have 3 passions, I think, and I'll tell you about one. And the one I'm telling you about is ironing. I actually have a flair, not to say a gift, for ironing. And because my wife is immensely rich, but that's not the only reason I stay with her, I have lots of irons. I have this old flat iron to remind me of the horror days, but I've got 3 other irons. I've got kind of a narrow one, which does the tricky stuff on duvet covers. And I like that a lot, and it soothes me. And the second one I've got is very, very narrow indeed, very delicate. And this is called a gusset iron. Are you sniggering because you don't think gussets are important? I can tell on the train who hasn't got a gusset iron. But never mind about that one. Let's get to the real source of my happiness is my Rowenta. And I've actually called my dog... I'll start weeping in a minute. I've actually called my dog Rowenta, yes.
So, did you have any misadventures with the old irons, the old flat irons?
Well, yes, because it used to burst into flames because you could only wrap cloth around the old flat iron. But most of all, it was a symbol, you know, of that awful life that servants led in those days.
I still think we get some of the technology from the flat iron in the use of the modern-day iron. So yes. I think we have to be grateful to the flat iron, and I think we have to be grateful also to the Hoover, which isn't completely ineffective. And because I think Billy Bass leads on to nothing, the winner of the Lucas for most redundant technology is, congratulations, Bob, it's Billy Bass.
Billy Bass, well.
I'll tell you what technology I'd love to see invented, though, the solar-powered sunbed. Just imagine, simply by absorbing the rays of the sun, you could have the appearance of someone who has absorbed the rays of the sun. Now, as someone who is naturally given to being svelte, I feel sorry for the bigger-boned among us. Fortunately for me, Kinder Eggs, Toffos and deep-fried Ferrero Rocher don't go anywhere near my hips. But what about those figures in history who weren't lucky enough to have my high metabolism? Without further ado, let's have your nominations, please, for the Lucas for Greatest Historical Fatty. Bob.
It's Friar Tuck.
Tom.
Sir John Falstaff.
Alex.
Winston Churchill.
Bob, tell me why you have chosen Friar Tuck. Is it because you yourself have a tonsure nowadays?
Yes, it's partly that, Matt. I remember a time, you know, when I was brought up, that a fatty, you know, was someone who you'd associate with fun, jovial, salt of the earth sort of character, and Friar Tuck represented that in the mythology of Robin Hood.
Yeah, the kind of fat man as jolly.
Yeah, which, you know, is wrong, but I think it's preferable to fat man as...
victim.
As victim or as...
Yeah, because it's self-inflicted, isn't it? I mean, those custard creams didn't walk out the shop, did they? You make a decision, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I think that's fair enough. Tom, Sir John Falstaff.
Well, I mean, I think that fat people are very beguiling. I know that snide doctors, you know, they say, yeah, what do fat people do in the summer, Tom? Tell me that. I'll tell you what they do. They smell. And look at you, lose 2 stone, they say. And I look at myself like that. But I once had, because I've had various sort of changes in my life, I had a thing, actually, for bonny girls, as they used to say, not to say mountainous girls. But the danger was, the thing is, you see, that actually, this girl I'm thinking of, oh, darling, Anyway, she was a big girl, and she used to sweat like a bloody stoker. Well, no, John Falstaff, the parody of him was a great fat man.
Oh, yeah, John Falstaff.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Sorry. Thank you. So, John Falstaff, Tom.
No, I like Falstaff because of the wonderful paradox of a great big fat man who was a liar, a cheat, a drunk and a coward. And yet, paradoxically, is without any argument at all the most popular character in Shakespeare, the most loved character in Shakespeare.
We love a rogue, though, don't we?
What, do we love a thieving, conniving, cowardly rogue?
Yes, we do.
Oh, well, that's my story, then. There you go. No. He's explained it all.
We do in fiction. In fiction, we love a rogue. You know, Fagin's a rogue. Actually, I should ask, Tom, have you ever played Falstaff?
No, I haven't, no. But I'm entirely sympathetic with this paradox. It is true, of course, that in real life we want nice neighbours and loyal friends and sweet children and good manners and train and things like that. But, of course, in the tumult of our imagination, we're into roguery, murder, corruption, adultery, betrayal. That's why I still read the Bible. I'm thinking of rewriting Genesis, actually. I think I could tighten it up a bit.
Just prune it, yeah? Prune it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex, your nomination for Greatest Historical Fatty is Sir Winston Churchill.
Yeah, it's a slightly worthy one.
Well, he's the one that isn't fictional out the
This is true, yes.
Out the three.
He's a real figure, and he had grave difficulties at school. He was sacked from his cabinet post after the First World War for a mess in Gallipoli. So he had very, very inauspicious beginnings, and then it all turned out to be a triumph in the end.
That's right.
I'm a great fan of that, because I did very badly at school myself.
Who is it?
We're talking about Winston Churchill, dear. Remember, and they put you on the bus and you came here, yeah? And the man gave you a cup of tea. Yeah. Winston Churchill.
I understand he's dead.
Currently.
Yeah.
George IV was fat, and he
Yes.
had it off with 7,000 women.
Yeah.
Which is 250 a year. It's not bad, is it, Tom?
That's fantastic.
Fantastic, isn't it? So I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah. He was so priapic. I think there's a word.
What did you call it?
Priapic. Well, to put it bluntly, he had a willy like a skittle. And the condition of satyriasis, it simply would not go away. It would not go away. Oh, it was an incredible disease.
Can I change mine to George IV, please?
You certainly can. I mean, he was very big, wasn't he? I mean, some of those 2,000 women, probably 50 of them got lost in the folds of his flesh, I would imagine. I think you've thrown a spanner in the works, Bob, and I think for that reason, I'm afraid the winner of the Lucas for Greatest Historical Fatty is going to be George IV. If we took a holiday, took some time to celebrate, just one day out of life, it would be so nice. It's all right for you, Madonna. We can't all afford a luxury fortnight of baby shopping in Africa. No, while you're busy saving the world, the rest of us have to make do, you cold-as-ice, reinvent-yourself-every-minute alien. For us mere mortals, it's sunburn on the continent, salmonella on a ship, or if we holiday in Britain, it rains till there's a flood and we all drown. Where, though, is the ultimate in tourist hell? It's time for the nominations, please, for the Lucas for ghastliest holiday destination.